All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We are back to playing some Otherscape tonight after a week off, and we're continuing our Mythos Cyberpunk campaign. If you're watching this, you can see that Jeremy's gone, and that's going to be a permanent thing because he's a little tired of his bullshit. Let's be honest, you know, like he's got a lot of needs. He's very high maintenance. He's got a lot of lines on his contract, many writers, and it's just we can't really afford it anymore. So he's been cut. He's been cut. I've moved Joe up into Jeremy's position. So you're right next to me, Joe. So like, this is your chance. This is your chance. You jumped right over Melissa because Melissa was in the 2 position, but you just jumped right over that, so that's fine.
Okay. Look at that. All
right. Anyhow, we're back. We are playing with toys as I've been messing around with our Foundry table and trying out this Mist engine HUD that I've seen on some of the City of Mist Discord. We're kind of getting it working. We're hitting buttons and stuff's popping up. Yeah. So
we're all clicking the same button.
We're all clicking the same thing. It's gonna be fun. But it looks pretty cool. I like it. There's some. I like where it's going. But yeah, we'll go from there. All right. So are we all ready? We ready to go? We want to just dive in? All right.
Yeah.
So let's see. You all are in Circuit Heights. So just kind of giving you it's been a couple weeks. So you remember we're in Circuit Heights, which is a neighborhood within the big, which is a neighborhood within the red green district that is known for having a big red presence. Big Red being like this law enforcement agency that is based in the Mounties, and they're very bad. They're very oppressive, and so you guys are here trying. You know, you're here on a specific job while other stuff is going on. So you are specifically trying to find a man. Like you were sent here by your handler Laloba to find one of her other teams, led by Caden Harlow, who was sent here to extract a informant out of the Ironclad Systems organization, which is like a paramilitary tech firm that's kind of married a little bit with Big Red. So they came here first, but Laloba lost contact with them, and so you've been sent here to try to clean up, figure out where is Caden Harlow, is he all right, is his team cool, and short of that, if you can't find him, your job is to take over what his objective was, which is to extract the informant. So last time around, we saw Rika and Ivan and Verona. You were meeting with a man by the name of Draven Locke, who is an independent smuggler at the Verge Towers, was sort of like a run-down, rough and tumble area of the neighborhood. That person has no love really for the analog, no love for Big Red. You got a little rumor that you started hearing a little bit that something bad happened to Harlow's team in the tunnels beneath the Verge Towers and like these smuggling tunnels, things like that. You kind of put a pin in it. You're not sure entirely if you really wanted to work with this guy or not. It's like maybe plan B or C down the road if necessary. Meanwhile, Agaricus, Mallory, and Clover, you actually befriended a member of the analog by the name of Bug while you were hiding inside this little hidden room in one of the neighborhood apartment buildings while Big Red was doing a sweep. You earned his trust, and so he brought you to what's called the Circuit Chapel, which is where the analog leadership and all other people within this small little rebellious group they sort of act. You know, they plan their various acts of insubordination. You saw some tech shamans. They were using like this refurbished retroware to access Ironclad data and install what appear to be very radical augmentations on themselves. One of the leaders you talked to is a guy by the name of Patch, who had an old-fashioned television installed in his torso that he communicated with, apparently. Then he brought you down to one of their mechanical labs, and I think the idea was to help Verona with the manacle that she had the time on. And you also discovered that's where they had Caden Harlow, because except Caden Harlow looks a little bit different than maybe the file that you had on him actually looked like, as he had been surgically altered into some kind of RoboCop-like cyborg. And so that's where we left off. I'm going to say you're all together. We're in this mechanical lab. I'm going to say that Patch is there. If you want to talk to him, we're going to say Caden Harlow has just kind of turned to you in this sort of herky-jerky manner, not quite moving with perfect efficiency. You can tell just by looking at him that many of his human parts have been replaced by robot parts. And there's really no look of recognition in his eyes, and he just kind of is moving more like a robot at this point. And so this is where we're at. This is the scene. Patch is here. One or two other members of the analog are here. You're in this mechanical lab. You can see Caden in his state. Does anyone want to do anything? Anyone ask any questions? Do anything here?
And Harlow here looks extra evil, monstrous, cyborgy.
If you've seen RoboCop, he looks basically like RoboCop, where like his head is still mostly intact, but you can tell that there's been some augmentations in the back. His body, you don't really see skin; you just see robotic parts. You really only see his face, and he is just like, "Welcome to the laboratory," and he's just kind of moving in this weird herky-jerky fashion.
I was picturing the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, like the most recent one, where he's just got the face. Bad guy.
That works too.
Okay. Yeah, that's messed up. I'm just going to mark that guy down as dead.
Okay.
So Patch is next to us.
Patch is here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Patch is here.
Or, yeah, you can go.
I was just gonna ask Patch, is he still in there?
And Patch looks to you, and again, Patch is kind of a odd-looking fella, especially because of the TV. But he looks and he says, "Is he still in there?" What a wonderful philosophical question. It is something that is open for debate, I suppose. At what point, when we carve away the flesh, do we cease to be what we were, and instead evolve ourselves into a new state?
I'm personally quite heavily kitted out, so is that a very complicated way of saying no?
Well, the damage to his body was extensive. When Flicker found him in the tunnels below Verge Towers, he was mostly torso. One of his arms had been blown clear off, and the other was broken in several places. His legs no longer were attached. We were able to apply some triage that we have come to learn from old tech to sustain some of his consciousness. So somewhere in there, a part of this man likely still exists, but in order to allow that small part to exist, we had to replace that which was no longer functional.
We asked him, does he say that he's Harlow?
And you, what do you like turn you ask if he's Caden Harlow, and like he kind of turns to you. I am Caden Harlow, 0765256. And he kind of looks like almost like he's trying to smile, but the smile like you can tell isn't quite working right, and it just sort of looks like his mouth is going off to the side while the other side of the mouth doesn't seem to function.
So
yes, because that's a no to me. But...
Mal's gonna turn to like the nearest person, which should probably be Reka, Ivan, Clover. One of them is gonna be like, "Hey, so how does he fit into this?" Like,
he was not really the goal, but we just kind of wanted to know what happened to him.
So he wasn't part of like our crew, like an ancillary crew, right?
No, he was the first attempt to get you and
We were
I think
told
Lobo
to
was kind of
look
curious
in
what happened about
often.
him.
Okay. Hey, pal. As I go towards him while he's all hooked up to the machinery and stuff, like,
Are
hey, pal.
we acquaintances?
I don't know if we've ever met, but say what'd your life look like about I don't know, a year ago, a few months ago?
My memory is unknown at that error, and you see it just kind of starts to twitch a little bit, and then his hand twirls, and you see like the mechanical hand, and suddenly there's a gun in his hand, and he's like waving it around. Error, and like Patch quickly runs over and just like, it's okay, and he kind of grabs him by the arm, and then like taps into a couple of this like a little keypad next to it, and suddenly Caden calms down a bit. We're still working out the glitches.
Right.
Is this like the first guy you've done this to, or?
We are constantly on the edge of innovation. It is a necessity in order to exist underneath the boot and heel of Big Red and Ironclad. We have tried to find innovation in the old and in the extreme.
And while he's doing that, I'm going to be like, hey, is it okay if I like touch him? Is it like, does he have a hand to shake or anything like that?
Right.
I just say it out loud.
Yeah, Caden, shake, and I'm assuming they know your names.
Yeah.
If you don't, shake Mr. Mallory's hand. And you can see the hand flips again, and now it's a hand instead of a gun. And he extends it, and he's like, put it there, pal. Put it in the old vice grip.
Yeah, and none of it is like flesh-based, right? It's all machine.
The only flesh you see is the face and like little side of the head.
All right. I shake his hand, and I'm like, would you mind if I took a look? I don't want to intrude too much, but we could try and answer some questions. So yeah, I'm straight up asking the person there that was working on. Yeah.
Okay, so you're asking Patch, and Patch is...
Patch,
will say,
yes, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And he'll turn to you. Take a look. Are you proficient in cybernetics and augmentations and mechanical grafting?
I'm very proficient in the human body.
I understand. Well, actually,
I do know something about
but
systems as well. But
if I can assure
cybernetics is kind of not really my thing.
We have done nothing to harm this man. We have...
No, it ain't about that. It's all right. It's not like that.
No,
it's like
it is about that.
If we're wanting to try and figure out if he's still in there, maybe I can help. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm curious too. I kind of lean over to Vrana. I'm like, are you getting like corpse vibe or like anything coming off of him? What kind of aura is that?
Does he look like a corpse?
You have sense life force. So
okay. Well, why don't? Well, we could. You want to do that to like set up Mallory, maybe? So like, if you want to see if there's like a living soul or whatever in this, give that a roll. Give us a quick outcome roll, and go from there.
I rolled a 9.
So what's it look like? Do you touch him? Do you just like reach a hand out? Like, do you mutter some sort of incantation? What does it look like?
Yeah, so this is very much a like she's you know how when she fights she's very stylized with all of the things that she does? It's kind of the same thing. Like, it's much more of just a like open her mind to sense life forces, but she's going through kind of all of these like body movements and arm movements as she's doing this. But it's just trying to land in a like, does she get a soul from this thing?
And maybe it's something about like warmth, perhaps, because the undead, because the dead are so kind of cold, but you do, I would say, kind of sense a bit of that warmth coming from him. Like it's a very faint flicker, like a kind of like a distant match being struck, but it's there. Like, so you do get the sense that he is there. And I should have made that a tract, so like we could say a status. So, but Mallory, basically, you're going to get like a +1 from her doing that if you wanted to do sort of an assessment.
Yeah, and so
Clover,
I'm looking at Patch to see if he'll allow me to.
It's a good question, Clover. Yes, he is still in there somewhere, which raises the question, though, Patch. Did you...
That almost makes me more unhappy.
Did you have his consent to do this? Was this something that he wanted to carry on in this way?
He looks offended.
He chose this?
You see, he gets offended. The TV screen grows like red static, and like, you seem to have us confused with the very people who tromp all over our freedoms. No, we are not them. We did ask. We asked, and we told him that the lengths that we would have to go to protect him would be extreme, and he did not want to perish.
Okay. Well, I mean...
At that, Rika, like, visibly... She's been kind of scowling this entire time, and at him saying this, she visibly softens.
Yeah, I suppose I should ask that first, huh, bud? As I'm looking at Patch.
To be clear, Rika does know about cybernetics, but she is not volunteering any assistance in this moment. And that is something at least our crew knows very well.
I mean, then at that, like, Mallory's going to just kind of ease up a little bit, and he's like, hey, the offer's still there. If you want me to get in, take a look and see if I can give you any extra information, I'm happy to do that. But, since I know you consented, like, I'm good at leaving it here too. It's whatever you want.
Patch will, like, you could see the red screen goes like orange a little bit, maybe down to yellow. And then he looks at you and he says, if it would make you more comfortable, and if you think you can reach him, well, perhaps that could aid in the transition process.
Can't promise nothing, but I can try.
Does that
Verona
mean
would probably
you can
call
promise
out...
something?
Yeah.
Verona might call out Rika. Couldn't you help him?
I should, right?
I mean, he said this is what he wanted. So
yeah. And she looks over past and back to Aiden, and it's clear she's making some decisions and calculating. It's like, Brenna, you are once again right. And she walks up to Caden and will say very softly and very gently, do you remember why you were here?
And he kind of twists and turns a little bit. I am here to take down Big Red. Secondary, I am here to protect someone. And he looks confused. You see this the crinkling of his face as he can't quite make out who.
Who will decide for you when you are complete? Is that something you can decide for yourself? Or is that something somebody else needs to tell you?
my friends, and he kind of turns over towards Patch, have been healing me, have been helping me. I trust them. When they say I am complete, then I shall be complete.
Kind of nods grimly and see her like reach up a hand like she's about to kind of hold it, take his hand, and then puts it back down and just kind of nods.
All right, so Mallory, do you want to try to like... Well, you tell me, what is it you're trying to do?
Yeah. So Mallory is trying to just like connect with this person and see if like there's something that can be brought out. So there's a couple of different ways that he can apply, like just generally looking over everything. Like if there is software that's helping to run his consciousness, then he's going to go in with intrusion specialists and find backdoors. He doesn't want to use any of the other two because that would be dangerous to what's going on.
Sure.
And then he's also like, since there is some biology there, he's going to tap into detect blood to see if there's any like energy or consciousness there. And then going through what he went through, he can also just kind of try and identify with what happens to you after a disaster as disaster survivor.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know how much of that applies. Okay, all of it does?
No, I think all that sounds good. And I think Verana was helping you a little bit. So like, I think that's like, she's giving you that kernel that you know that there's something in there that you can try to hone in on, whether it's, and like your mixture of like control of noise, like of your cyberspace knowledge and your domain knowledge, your hacking knowledge, but also like your ability to understand like the elemental form, the body. Like this is like the perfect opportunity for you to like blend those two together, like magic or mythos and machine, to try to like use your expertise in both.
So I've got 4 tags I'm tapping into, and then +1 from Vrana.
Yeah, Vrana.
Okay. And then this is a tract.
Yeah. Well, no, I think
Quick?
you don't need it. You can just make it a quick outcome. It's really just to see if you gain access or not.
Okay.
Okay.
How about a 14?
14 is phenomenal.
Wow.
First time I've really succeeded at hacking.
That's fantastic. Now,
Good job.
you've seen that like there's like he's in this like alcove, and he's not like necessarily restrained, but you can see that there is like there's a restraining bar kind of around his waist, but like that's more, it looks like it just simply unbuckles. It's just to keep him from kind of falling over. And there are plenty of like keyboards, like old fashioned like mechanical keyboards that like have these screens that are above them. They're showing off all these different readings, and you just start to go. And at some point you start to like see the data kind of pop up. And as it's streaming through, you're seeing all this kind of mechanical systems, but you see underneath it, right? There's some other, like, not anomalous, but some other reading that seems to be kind of blending or weaving in and out of like the predictability of code. And like you hone in on that a little bit, and like you start to let your like the non computer hacking person start to like reach out that way. And you see the screen of data like kind of shift and change and kind of swirl. And then coming to the fore, there is like a face. And then like there's a finger, like it's like tapping the inside of the screen. And you hear, like in your mind, you just hear like, "Hey there, partner." And as the head kind of pulls back away, you see the face of what you presume to be Caden Harlow. It's in good condition. It's not like what you see now. You see he steps back in this kind of digitized look, but he's got like a duster on. You can see he's got like a gun. He's like an old gunslinger basically. And you keep hearing this voice in your head. "Well, hey there, partner. I guess I guess those analog folk got it all working okay. Looks like, oh, this is a strange feeling. And the rest of you kind of see, like, the mouth of Caden Harlow, like, move. And you can see he's actually moving along with, like, whatever this digital representation on the screen is. What do you say, Valerie?
The first thing I say is, hey, you okay?
Well, no. I got blown to freaking high heaven. My whole team got split into about 1,000 different parts, and I lost my... I lost the asset. Fact that I'm talking to you through a freaking screen and not through my mouth is alarming. So no, I don't think I'm all right.
I figured. Hey, they're taking good care of your body, and they're trying to do what they can to bring you back.
What's left of it?
Not much.
Yeah. Yep.
But we were able to get through this way, so I'm gonna take what I know and what we found out here, and I'm gonna give it to them so that they can try and see if there's a way to pull you out fully, like I've got you here.
All right. Well, we had Martell. We got him. We caught ourselves a tail. And freaking big red guys. I don't know exactly how they got onto us so fast. Their surveillance is
It's terrible. I know.
Anyhow, like we tried to get some different routes out to cut the bridges off. Couldn't go through there. Cut down sewers were crawling. We were thinking about taking the skylines, going out that way, but there's going to be a wait on that, and we just kind of had to make a run for it. Ewan got all jittery, ran the wrong direction, and that's when they were on us.
Yeah. Well, they caught him, and we're going to try and go in and get him.
God damn it. And you see, it's just like, he's like, you can tell he's kind of angry about it, but every time you look at him, it looks like something out of like a 1990s video game. It's like you're playing Myst or like Riven or something like that.
Yeah,
and they're doing the
cutscenes.
cutscenes. Yeah. That's basically what it looks like when you talk to him.
Right.
Sorry, Joe, those were games in the 90s. Point and click adventures.
The
Before times.
They're really good.
Times in the long ago.
Yeah. So, I'm going to take everything that he said and, like relay it. But like, before I get out of here, I'm just going to say, hey, is there anything unfinished? Anything I could do for you?
Unfinished.
Well, yeah, like just anything you need me to do for you.
Like, I mean, you can finish the job.
I will.
Don't really like.
Or I'll die trying.
Well, no, I mean, you don't got to do that. Just finish the job.
Yeah.
And if you ever get yourself over by Sweet Release, my my ex-wife and my daughter are over there. See if you can kind of like track them down. Tell them something heroic, like I was like saving orphans from a fire or some shit, right?
Yeah, them orphans, they're always finding themselves in trouble, and you're good.
Well,
good on you.
They're always setting things on fire. That's why they're doing it.
They tend to do that. Damn, it's really strange. Somebody should stop
Very
getting
strange.
matches.
They should.
Very flammable orphans are.
Orphans are flammable. Oh goodness!
All right, where was that? You said
Sweet Release. It's one of the districts.
Yeah. I'm just making notes of that on this character sheet here so I can remember. All right. All right. I'll go and I'll tell him something good about you.
Okay. Well, thanks, partner. And you tell La Loba that, well, sorry. And then
You're still doing something. That counts.
I don't know, fella. Feel like little bits and pieces of me are kind of disappearing. You know? Like a little of this and a little of that. I don't even know how long has it been? Just a couple days.
Couple days?
And he's just like, huh. Man, feels like a year ago. Huh. Time's weird, fella.
Yeah, that it is. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I ain't never been in a position like this.
Well, you keep your head on straight. Be careful.
That never happens.
Oh,
But I know what you mean.
executive levels. One thing I remember.
Mm-hmm.
They got some sort of... We saw a glimpse of it, or at least the specs of it. Some kind of newfangled drone, but not a drone. It's something for the streets, something to walk. It's all sorts of arsenal and such on it. They were... Yeah, be careful of that thing. Could be
like a power
operational.
suit of some sort?
No, I don't
Or
think it was.
It's fully autonomous.
I think it was autonomous. Yeah, our my hacker friend Tabby, she couldn't get through it. It was shielded somehow.
Oh, wait, you knew Tabby?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You friend?
Yeah.
Well-
Not really. Just some forums and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to say, she is not with the living no more.
Oh, damn. I should have guessed it. Thought she was lurking. Oh, well.
All right. Well, good luck, fella.
Yeah. You the same.
And he
Take
just sort
care.
of like fades away again.
Yeah. So I come out and I relay all of that. I'm like, so apparently in the executive levels, there's a fully autonomous, like, drone that all sorts of guns and offensive capabilities. So we want to watch out for that.
I don't like it, but good to know.
Okay.
So Patch, he's still in there.
I
I
suspected
don't
as
know
much.
I don't know if it'll stay, but you did some good.
And like you can see again, the color of the TV screen is becoming less yellow and kind of getting closer to green now. Looks like he's calming down. Well, I'm glad you can recognize us as the good guys.
And Verona would kind of go over and say, I'm very, very sorry to have offended. And I'm actually wondering, when you've lost someone, how soon after losing them can you still do the things that you did with him?
This procedure, there needs to be brain activity still. There are other procedures, though. However, they all require some semblance of consciousness remaining. We
Good to know.
happen
So
to
you would
have,
have to-
the parts around. It was a dark and sad, but in the end, positive coincidence.
Well, as Mallory just saw, he's still in there. So it would be a way to help someone who's not quite passed beyond to still be here.
Do you have another associate who has been blown into several parts, but has retained some level of cerebral consciousness?
No, it's been quite some time.
Yeah.
And she sort of hangs her head.
Well, unfortunately, the apparitional post-death state is not a study of ours, but there are those. I believe there was a firm out of Little Russia that was experimenting with some sort of necromantic abjuration of some kind. I don't know the details.
I dabble in those things, but it's not the same. To keep someone from the brink and pull them back from it, that is progress.
Well, there are artifacts, source touch items that have the ability to do many things. Perhaps your answer lies not in technology, but in a different path.
And she's been genuinely curious in this discussion, but is also sort of making sure that they've gone from red to orange back
He
to
seems calm
like
down at this point. And again, the whole time, like every time you guys talk with him, like he will pause and he will like look down and like wait for like some static or signal and then kind of converse. So you could tell it's like there, you anytime you're talking to him, you know, like there's there's an extra consciousness or an extra brain or something like that in the conversation. It's not just him that you're talking to.
And she sort of had this sort of extended conversation, and then she'll sort of look around and look sort of a little embarrassed, and she'll kind of step back behind the rest of the group.
And Patch will direct. I'm not sure I can't remember if we did this last session, but he'll direct one of his laboratory assistants to sort of mess with the time on your watch or on your wrist. And at that point, Patch will turn to you all and we'll say, now, if there is no more inquiry necessary here into our motives and practices, I believe we had a deal. If you, as you have said, wish to infiltrate the Stratus building, we can provide certain information, layouts, and some technical specifications of some of the levels that we have been able to access. Naturally, we will want something from you. Artifact storage in the executive levels, which, according to our understanding, is where the high security holding cells are as well. However, you all look very tired. If you wish, you may rest here, up in the barracks, get yourself refreshments. We can reconvene in the morning with a better plan.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Could use some R&R.
And so, like, he'll bring in some of his, like, little acolytes and stuff like that, and they'll kind of take you anywhere you want to go. And if you want, yeah, we can do a downtime. We'll do a little downtime. So think of it like kind of, it's sort of like a rest. It's not going to be as involved, perhaps, as the last time we did this between scenarios. Basically, you guys can sort of narrate what you want to do with this. Some of you might do different things, but there's two options you have. One option is to basically get 3 power for free and then spend that on effects without having to make a roll. And so this is sort of like how you could heal statuses if you've had some negative statuses and you want to get those off of you. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. So if you have like a status 2, or Clover, you have a black eye. So if you wanted to heal that black eye, you could spend one of those power to heal the black eye. You could, whatever it is you want to do. You could also do this to buff or prepare, to research, to inquire. So those are all things like you could spend your power on. This could be about like kind of getting status tags or statuses or tags or something like that to get you ready. So that's one of the options. You get 3 power for free. Don't have to make a roll, and you just spend it on the effects that you want to spend it on. The other option is you can mark an upgrade box on one of your themes. And remember that upgrades are the way that you kind of gain like specials and new tags and things like that. So those are the options. We don't have to do like, I mean, we can kind of have like little mini scenes. We don't have to do anything too elaborate with them. But I know that, this is an opportunity for you to kind of like tell us a little bit about what your character is doing, whether you're spending the power or whether you're doing the upgrade box. Like even if you're doing the upgrade box, like think about like, what are you doing to kind of like train or like reflect on or something like that. So does everyone kind of have an idea what they're doing? We just do a quick round table of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, you are in the first position here. So why don't you go ahead? What's your plan? What do you think Clover does in this time? It's about a day.
Yeah. And I could kind of see this being interpreted as 3 power, and one of the things I want to do would be the research and inquire for the power. But I could also see it being an upgrade box depending on what you feel like this would be. Basically,
what's your objective? Like, what do you want to get out of it?
A while back, I heard of that the memory mining stuff is a potential avenue I can use to chip away at the Jinn stuff that is like bonded to me. And then I also heard that they have tech like that here. And I wanted to see if I could use that while I was here, or talk them into letting me use their machine.
Okay. I think this to me sounds a little bit like, I think this is power. I don't think this is necessarily an upgrade box. So if you say you have 3 power, you can do this and you can spend it on the research inquire. So this could be, so this is like research inquire. You spend time gathering new information on the job or some other subject of interest, etc. So is your goal... So if your goal is, so if you want to do this, so you can spend as much as you want on it, but if you ask them, like if you spend, like you'll kind of get pulled off, and one of their acolytes, Axel, we'll say, is saying, yeah, she's a kind of a slender woman with like all sorts of tattoos, and she's like wearing like an old like golfing hat that doesn't have like the top part. It's like a visor, and like hanging down from the visor, she's got glasses attached to it. But she says to you, she's like, so you want to use this? You want to get something out of your head? Is that what it's for?
Yeah.
Well, we discovered that. Well, the ironclad systems, they were not just. They don't just experiment with like robotic tech and cybernetics and things, but rumor has it that they have an extensive collection of source-touched artifacts, somewhere on the executive level. And they have, if you make it to the executive level, if in the hierarchy of the company, it means you have some skill with manipulating various energies. And so they've been pushing for a while now psychological warfare. And they've been trying to get into people's brains and twist them and get them to do the things that they want them to do. Usually it's related to violence. But we have been experimenting with ways to try to sever a connection made through some sort of source-based means with someone's consciousness. We've seen success in some of our lab rats. and one in a dog. We've done some human trials, but those have been less than successful, but not without encouragement. But if you would like to review our data, you are more than welcome to.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. I guess that's a little less further along than I thought you guys were.
If you're volunteering for a trial, well, Patch would need to be consulted, and you would need to give his approval. And but I would be more than I could inquire if you would like to subject yourself.
The one thing I mentioned too, as they're talking about that, I'm like, and I think I have something that might help with this, making it easier to interface or whatever. And I picture there being kind of like some very subtle tech that's visible, like on the side of my temple or whatever, for my analytical brain augment. Like, I feel like you could tap into this, and that would be an extra layer of interfacing with it. That might be into this.
She like tweaks the goggles that are hanging down from her visor. She's like, whoever put this in did a good job on this. Can barely see the seams. Oh, and she like starts to poke it a little bit here and there. Like, yeah, I guess that could help. But, that means we could use it as an anchor. Yeah. And she's like starting to think now. Okay. So I'll throw this out at you. So what do you want what do you want the outcome to be of this? Like, are you genuinely looking to sever the djinn from you right now? Like, because it seems like that's more of a lengthier process, or are you just looking to are you looking to lessen its influences? What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking more of like putting a chip in it and see if this is even like a viable avenue to go down. And then I was planning on burning my analytical brain augment for that procedure. That aid in it. Okay.
Why don't we do this? If you're going to burn your power on this, and you're going to burn the analytical brain augment, I can never get like your character sheet back open. Why don't we do like I'm trying to remember the name of it. The track, the empowerment track. No, it's not it. Evolve. It's the phrase I'm thinking of. I can't see your character sheet.
Evolution.
Evolution. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Because it sounds like this is what we're working towards. Is like this is like a moment of evolution for you, and that once we basically start to go down this route, like the goal is to eventually like work the djinn out of you.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's working at.
Okay. So I'm just bringing up the other character sheet, since for some reason I just can't open yours up now. Told you we'd have some kinks. So do like so I would say like the buildup is the track. So if you wanted to burn, if you're going to burn all three of your power, and you're going to burn your analytical brain argument for the rest of this scenario, I'll say take 2 ticks on your buildup.
Okay.
And once we'll
how
say
do I
once
do that? Is that
so? If I don't see it on like the Foundry one, but I'm looking. I went back.
If
I went back to our
the
Google
story
Sheets.
tags.
Oh, neat. Okay. Oh, very cool. Yeah. So give yourself 2 build-up points. Okay. And once that fills up, we'll say like that's when we do that moment of evolution, which is when you can like we'll say you can do some kind of like respec. That's what like total reconstitution would be. So we could do like a mini respec where some of that goes away. So like that's how we can kind of flavor this maybe. How's that sound?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, so we see this like like we see Axel in her like golf visor, just sort of like hooking your analytical brain augment up to all of these like old cables. They're like coaxial cables, just like old stuff, and they're like jamming into like this old, like, you know, these old computers. And you can see her
there's like 7 layers of adapters.
yeah, and she's like, oh, well, hey, where's the coupling? And they're like calling, they're bringing in all these little like connector switches and stuff like that. And you can see like they're like literally splicing wire and like bringing it back together. And like the whole process is like kind of a little bit agonizing. And the whole time you can kind of feel in your brain probably like the Jinn starting to understand what's happening. And then like the voice, however you hear the Jinn, like, no, you know, whatever it might be. And then suddenly quiet. And like just for like this, for the next like 24 hours or so, there's just like no, like you almost don't feel them there, because they have been like kind of like there's a block. It's not going to be permanent, and that's what she explains to us. It's not permanent. But I think we put a stunt in there, and now if we continue, we keep going back in until we can create a cage. And once we get in the cage, we can extract the cage, and with it, whatever host you've got going on in there.
That's fantastic. I wasn't even sure if that was gonna do anything. So that's a lot to go off of for me.
There is wisdom in the past. This tech, and she's like looking at it, and it's all dusty. And as she's like showing you like one of the screens that's got your vitals, you can see it just starts to go crazy, like you're dying, and it looks like your heart has flatlined, your brain rays. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Smack, and she hits it really hard, and it pops back in, and everything looks okay again. And we'll cut from there. We'll say Clover then spends the rest of like the night like recuperating from the brain surgery, the minor brain surgery that he decided to do at his downtime. All right, Verana, what are you up to?
Okay, so I am going to receive the 3 power, and I am going to basically kind of be out and about a bit during this kind of downtime. So one of the things that I wanted to do is to recover the burn tag for the accelerated regen gel that I had basically like traded for something. So basically kind of sourcing that back again.
Okay.
And then
anyone who leaves the chapel probably gets an analog escort. Like somebody will go with you and kind of help you, because you're not gonna be able to get back in without it. So they're not like watching you, and they're maybe helping you, like finding like the ways to, you know, dodge surveillance on the streets and stuff if they know certain places that are hot spots and everything. But they're able to take you to some sort of med vendor. Maybe you go back to the glow market. You know, maybe that could be somewhere you might go.
And I would agree with that, because the thing that I wanted to do with my second power was going to be research and inquire, because Verana is very curious about the change in mood that was happening in the glow market, and the rumors that we've heard that there's some type of like control something or another, that the research, like the psychological research stuff that was going on. And, you know, it seems like the rest of what we're going to be doing is going to be a little more specific to kind of breaking into the Stratus building. So she wants to try to do a little bit more like, how long has it been since the mood seems to be more tense here? And does anybody notice anything different, any different smells, any different things in the area? Like just kind of digging into that.
Okay. So if you go back to the glow market, one of the analog people one of the acolytes will take you, and you're kind of going about the stalls, and they step in and kind of make a connection for you with somebody, kind of get you like a lower price. And so that's 1 power. So you kind of regenerate your gel. But as you're asking around, you ask about smells and things like that, but no one notices that. Like it's just and they kind of, when you ask it, they're like, what the the fuck are you trying to say? You trying to say it stinks here? What the fuck is wrong with you? It smells perfectly fine. And you know what fucking stinks around here is you and your fucking face. And like they kind of get up in your face and they get very chesty with you. And you ask around some more and you realize like people have been talking about there's been some kind of interference in the various public domains that are overlapping in the neighborhood. And there's been some kind of like something has been interfering with domain connections. So there's like interference going on. That's what seems to be the only like anomalous observation. And anytime you say like, you know, you getting angrier? No, I'm not getting angrier. What are you trying to say? You're getting angrier. And like, you can tell that even between now and when you were there earlier in the day, like, there definitely seems to be an escalation in how that is. But if you have any like tech on you and you try to access it, you do notice that there is this some kind of like permeating like layer of interference that's just like over top of any domains, whether it's like the public domains of the neighborhood, or if you just tap into like a private domain of like a company, if you like kind of go into one of these non-paramilitary companies that just so happens to have a location in Circuit Heights, and you kind of try to access their visitor domain to check in, even that has it. It's just like this strange signal, this anomalous signal that seems to be appearing everywhere.
And I would be totally fine. Like, I do have a weakness of overzealous. So if like she ends up with some type of like minor physical injury because she doesn't know when to stop asking questions, like
it's your dad's house. It's your dad's house. You get this for free. I'm not gonna knife you. No, you're fine. You're fine.
And then we can like bank a power, right? Like if we get 3 power
for
and
later,
we spend 2.
I think you can. So I think you can. I think you can save it. I'm trying to remember like mid scenario whether you save it for anything else, because I know one of the examples from downtime was to use it in loadout, like load up when you like first start the adventure or start a scenario. But yeah, if you want to, like, I don't know off the top of my head, so you can just, if you just want to like keep something for you.
What I can also do for the other one too is there's prepare for action. So I think she may just once her analog escort has pulled her out, and like I imagine that they're probably like, do you want to get stuffed in a dumpster? Because if you keep asking questions, I think you're going to get stuffed in a dumpster. And so
I know someone who sells that very service. If you're interested, very sanitary. No. They make sure the dumpsters are clean before they shove you into them. And the knives, well, the shivs technically that they use to stab you, those too are made with the highest quality metals, recycled, of course.
And Brunna looks more tempted than you might think at this, because she probably would pay someone to spend some time in a dark dumpster, and all of that actually sounds like something that she would spend money on.
Wow.
But
we're learning something about Verona right now, I think.
She considers that her time might be better spent back kind of in the chapel area and off in a corner practicing sneaking and tiptoeing and those kinds of prepare for action, like training for like the next activity.
Sure. Give yourself some kind of temporary like status tag, like espionage training or something like.
And maybe what that actually looks like is she like wraps something around like shoes or something, so she's a little quieter. So like practically there's something that's a little bit different about like her movement. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Mallory, what are you up to? Think of it like it's the end of one day, overnight, and the morning of the next day, that kind of thing. Sort of where we're at.
Yeah. So before we started playing, I had an idea of what I would do, but because we took the game in one direction, it's going to change. So the way that plays out is like, it's downtime, and Mallory's all about like trying to see if he can like find a way to shake the traced condition, and he's starting to do that, but he can't concentrate. There's something bugging him about how he was able to connect on more than a technological level because of his like elemental body. And so he's gonna like get frustrated with that and stop. And he's going to go into that room and spend some time there and just like close his eyes and try and just like detect all of the life around him, which starts with like the biological parts that are still there, and then like spreads out, and like maybe he can detect like some rats that are in the area, or something like that, as he's going to instead put a point to upgrade his exposure.
Okay, so that means you are going to keep the track stuff then. You're keeping your track stats. Okay. One of the things I'll tell you is like when you're in the room, you like, and like when you come in the room, there's maybe an acolyte or two, like one of these like tech shamans that come up and are like checking this and checking that. And you see Caden, and he's like, "Hello there, partner. Welcome back. Put her in the vice grip." And he's like kind of moving his hand in such a way like he wants to shake his hand skin. You could tell like there's recognition in it, but then he kind of like moves away.
Yeah.
You can sense a few things. First of all, you very much can sense that there's your categorical vermin. Like that's not an issue. But you also sense, if you kind of like reach out and like you're specifically like, is it life force or is it like a physical? Are you sensing blood? Like what do you think it is you're doing?
I think it's like more of a blood as far as life force goes. So like his element is mainly himself most of the time, and that's what he's done, is just like changed himself the whole time, and now he's realizing, well, I can actually do a little bit more, and so he's trying to test the limits and see what he can do with other people as well. And but the element is mainly the blood. Okay.
You do sense that there is like a somewhere, and the signal almost seems masked in a way, like behind layers of like security. It has a feeling in some ways to like trying to hack into a computer system and trying to get past layers of like firewall or like ICE programs or something like that you're trying to like push past. Like you feel like you're having to move past it to kind of gain access to whatever this might be. But there's another being somewhere, and you can kind of sense it somehow, but it's at a distance, and it's strange because in some cases it feels very localized behind these firewalls, but on the other hand it also feels like it's all around you at times. It's kind of giving you this sort of like this bizarre quality to it.
So it's part of the maybe it's a part of the essence that's in the area. Would I know that, or is that just confusing to me?
No, I don't think it's. There is essentially there. It's nothing that. I would say nothing that like kind of esoteric. It does feel like there's a presence that is like eluding you somehow.
Gotcha. Okay, I get it. And so, I'm gonna just continue to like spend that time, and I'll probably fall asleep while I'm doing it too. Yeah, like in the room.
yeah. And then, like at some point in the morning, you feel like a heavy tap on your shoulder, and you look up, and there's like Caden Harlow, like his hand in the shape of like a point, pointing you, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey, partner. And that we'll fade out of that.
Real quick before you switch over to someone else, welcome Raiders from Roll for Perception. Welcome in.
Oh, thank you so much. Awesome. We are playing Otherscape. mythos cyberpunk. Really, really fun, actually. Who was I on? Chuck. What
That's
is
me.
Ivan doing?
Well, I got a couple things I got to do.
Okay.
First thing, I got to get rid of that drain tag, and I'm going to do
Sure.
that by going around and just collecting scraps of metal, like tiny shavings,
Okay.
and then just having myself a nice soak
Okay.
for a few hours to shake off that drain tag, reinvigorate my fire ability, and then I want to make sure that left is good to go, up and ready for action. So I would imagine they have a bunch of junk electronics. I'm going to spend some time feeding him, see if maybe I can
Nice.
get him juiced up for whatever shenanigans we're going to get into.
Okay. I like to
yeah.
think that they probably have some old like hot tub, like somewhere that they've just
Yeah.
like refurbished somehow. And like when you talk to an acolyte about what you want, and they're like, you don't want water, and you're like,
No.
Like,
No, it'll rust.
Okay, and then they kind of wander off, and like they'll come back with all these tiny little like chunks of metal. And what does left look like again? Can you when he kind of pops out?
Like a furry little, like it looks like the body could be cute, a little bit chubby, tiny little wings, and
Okay.
then just this bald, menacing face, like if you shave the face of a pug or something like that. Just
Okay.
not pleasant to look at, but
Okay.
yeah.
You hear like an acolyte, rats are in here again, and like they're
No,
like, holding
no,
their guns.
it's left.
What?
It's fine. He's my friend. He's
No,
my
it hasn't
pet.
left. It's right there. What?
No, its name is left. All right.
Is it left or is it right?
It's left.
It's left. No, it's right there.
Fireball.
And you lose
You
your
got
ally.
insults
with the
left.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2. You got one more power. One more thing you want to do?
The last thing I want to do is, and it may be a stretch, I want to see if they can get me a custodian's like jumpsuit for
Yeah.
whoever the cleaners are in the building.
For
a little
Ironclad
disguise.
specifically?
Just in general, like surely they
Mhm.
pay the property manager custodial service of some form.
Okay. Yeah, one of the like junior tech shamans here will everyone like you've been they've all been tasked with like helping you get what you guys
Yeah.
want if you leave, to find the right place or whatever it might be. And so yeah, it is not brand new. It is definitely
fine.
used. All sorts
Yeah.
of stains in it. A few patches in it. You think there might be some holes and stuff here and there. It probably is slightly loose fitting,
Sure.
and it smells a little bit. But yeah, you have a gnarly old janitor's outfit, like these coveralls,
yeah.
basically.
No, this is perfect. We need it to smell lived in.
Yeah, perfect.
It'll give credibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, just add that to your sheet somewhere. You can give yourself like a tag for it. And we'll
Okay.
just say that. Okay.
Cool.
And then we come to Rika. What is Rika doing like at the end of the day and the night or overnight or into the morning? What is Rika doing with her downtime?
So I'm gonna do that. Receive 3 power and banana effects, and the very first thing she does, because it's the end of the day, is the research and inquire, discover. She's gonna ask these guys for the location of a cop bar and go and like chat up some people there and basically like very casually kind of find out the shift schedule. And just flavor wise, she's absolutely turned off the sensitivity of like her organic reactions in her face, because she knows she will react to things that maybe she shouldn't. That's
Okay.
that's the first thing is
I like it.
Eventually to get sort of an when we talk about this a little bit of, but
Yeah.
essentially it's not like security anymore. It's just building operations is what she's kind of looking to get.
Okay, so we'll say you go, like, when you say you want to go to a cop bar, like your tech chef is like, I don't know if that's a good, but eventually, like, once you kind of explain what you're doing, they're going to take you to a bar. I need a name for a bar. What is a Canadian cop bar called? What do we think that would be? Like asshole Canadian cop bar. What would that be?
Oh, definitely the Maple Leaf fans are mostly shitty. So maybe it's the leaf blower.
The leaf blower? Okay, got it. All right. So we're going to call it the leaf blower. Okay, so you head over, they take you in. It's definitely, it's a bar, so technically anyone can go into it. But when you do go in there, you can definitely tell that there is a certain type here. Like, you don't really see a lot of the usual flair that you might in like a more metropolitan bar or just some sort of dive bar like this. Like, you can see people are kind of in their some of them are still in uniform. They've like taken off their like their protective suits and things, but you can see the colors, right? You can see like the reds, you can see the tans and stuff like that, and they're kind of moving about. And there's groups of people that are like, whether they're at like booths or at the bar itself or like around tables, and they're watching, hockey, of course, like up on all of the screens. You can see everywhere. And it's definitely got a very macho vibe to it, as you might expect, which isn't to say that it's like all men. It isn't, but it's got like it's definitely, whenever there's a goal that's scored, like something gets smashed.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So during your time here, are you spending all of your power on this, or is this just
no?
Okay.
This is one power that I would like to spend on.
Okay.
This,
so the more you spend, basically, the more I would say you would know. But I would say with a 1 power spend, you would probably glean just from like drunken conversation that Sergeant Elwin is like kind of the sort of shift supervisor, or like the schedule, like controls the schedule, who is a not well liked and is not here and never comes here because at least he has like the wherewithal to know that like he shouldn't commiserate with these people. And like you get a lot of people complaining about their shifts, like they're getting double shifts here, or like the stop off time, when they start, when they're off, and then like rolling doubles and people. So like I would say you have a basic understanding of like who sets the schedules, and then when like the major shift times are. You do learn though that it's overlapping, so it's not like there's one whole like they just all 200 cops suddenly like are off. It's like it's kind of staggered somewhat, but you do kind of have a basic understanding of it.
Great. Okay, thank you.
What else do you want to do?
That's one. The second thing is the overnight time. Rocket doesn't need a ton of sleep, which because of all the odds. So it's the quality time tag. Eventually, I'd like to, figure out some decay and stuff, and I really think this is like the starting point of that. So I'd like to spend quality time with Kate and Hartle.
Okay.
Just to kind of deepen my relationship with them, with him, and I don't really have like a goal for this apart from just sort of connection at this stage, because all of this she's having a lot of very complicated feelings and having a lot of like, and I think she wants to spend time with him too. She doesn't talk a lot, so not gonna wake up Mal while he's there.
Well, you go in there after your trip to the bar, and he's probably asleep by then. Yeah.
It's mostly just sort of quiet and being around him at
Okay.
this point.
Okay. Once or twice, like he might suddenly look up. Hey, good looking. What you got cooking? Like he's just like filled with all these like weird phrases. Like it's super hokey. But every now and then he does that, and then he kind of shuts off.
Very flirty for whatever it's worth.
he comes in fits and starts. Like one of the things you definitely noticed is that like there's moments where it seems like he's cogent. There's moments where it seems like he's there and can communicate.
Yeah.
And then there's these long gaps where he's just completely non-communicative. And then he almost like he resets and restarts again, and he'll do the same like, "Hey, good looking," and like as if he's like going through some sort of cycle, some sort of loop. But yeah,
just sort of narratively, she isn't ever starting conversations, but if ever like he does, she's very charming and quite, like I said, like quite flirty about it, and very like has like a very human and close conversation with him.
Sure. Is there some other way that you're creating rapport with him if you're not really trying to initiate conversation? Is there like something else you're doing then to sort of?
I probably won't have like more time with him in this measure. So can I walk that back and say that I absolutely am starting a conversation? And very specifically, one of the things that I am mentioning is, Mal told us about your ex-wife and your kid in sweet release. You're not dead, and you're not dying. Like, there's no reason to pretend like that's what's happening. You're not dying.
I am alive, but my marriage is dead.
Sure,
it was dead before I came here. She doesn't want to see me.
No, that's not what I mean. Yeah, I mean, Mel doesn't need to, go and tell this heroic tale of like her father lost, because you aren't lost. You're here.
And he's like, his head tilts left and right like a dog that's really confused. And he says, No, Caden is dead. I am something different. And he kind of like tilts his head a little bit here and there. And I am okay with that good looking partner.
Golly, good looking.
I hope they can get me a face like yours.
This is all on, so you can very definitely get a face like this.
And like you see, he tries to do the smile, but only one side of his face works again. So like the muscle, like they haven't quite figured out how to get his muscles in his face to react the way you want to. Okay, so give yourself a story tag.
Awesome.
Yeah, just befriended Caden. However you want to phrase it is fine with me.
Cool.
Okay. All set?
Figure that out. Awesome, thank you. Third one, I'm not sure if it's prepare for action or research and inquire, but the following morning, I would like to, and the analog escort will be super helpful, I think, at this, because I'd like to scout the Stratus building, and I'm looking for two things in specific. any areas on the outside that are, being renovated or like they're like broken and currently being like repaired in some construction manner.
Mhm.
And I'm also looking for vendors, like, is there someone who brings coffee every day? Is there someone who like stocks their vending machines, like an IT support, like that kind of shit? And like, who's
Okay.
going in and where's the delivery door?
So you only have 1 power left. You're asking a lot.
Right.
Like I think that you guys have 3 power, and so like the more you invest in certain things, the more information you can get. So I don't think you're going to get all of that. I think what you'll be
Okay.
able to learn is the building itself is very stark and militarized. Like the aesthetic is very much like something designed by people who are regularly building high-tech paramilitary like I would say it's fortified, checkpoints everywhere. I would say there's towering metal detectors in like the lobby area, and there's like multiple access points for like elevators, and the big red precinct takes up the majority of the lobby area. But you do notice that there is one like kind of cafeteria area or where it looks like there's like a local vendor. It's a noodle place. It's Yun Yun's Noodles. And so you can see that there is like that is there. And from what you can tell, the various people who work at Big Red, they'll like come over and they'll get whatever they want from there. It doesn't look like they pay either. They just kind of go up, they say what they want, whether it's noodles, coffee, something like that, tea, etc. Like they get all of that kind of stuff, and that's built directly into the main lobby of the building. And they do have like a secondary entrance for loading. However, that is still through a checkpoint. You can see everything's checkpointed.
Sure. Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Thanks.
Okay. So then we'll say somewhere around mid-morning, all of you fresh from your various rests, your feeding of your tech gremlins, your naps with a cyborg, or getting minor brain surgery. All of you then will reconvene at some point, kind of in this somewhere in this chapel, and I guess I'm just gonna ask you guys, like, what do you do next? Like, what's your next plan here? Like, what's the idea?
Figure out how to start prepping to make it into Stratus in a way that we can make the analog happy and find Ewan without dying. And it's kind of what I'm interested in. Did they tell us like specifically what they're looking for, or is it just kind of anything on?
They want you to get, they want you to break into the artifact, like basically their artifact vault in the executive levels, and just take whatever you can. They will, like, if they can give you, like, because they're not entirely sure what's inside. But they do give you like a certain things to look out for. Like so they'll give you like a list of things, like an inventory. Most everything, it seems like it seems to involve kind of a little bit of like what Mallory was doing, this like confluence of like using like old domains and text signals, wrapping that within some sort of source infusement, like sort of magic of some kind. And so they kind of reference a few things that they think might be in there, but they don't know for sure.
Okay.
So you guys have rested. You've done your prep. Do we just go to the Stratus building?
I think before we do, we know who sets the shift schedules, but we don't know where prisoners are kept. So we'll know who's on prisoner guard duty, but we can if we try and figure out, but we don't know where that is.
Mallory did learn that high security holding cells are at the executive level.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, we got to go to the executive level. We got to watch out for that big automaton, you know.
Yeah, and Draven told us there's gun turrets every couple feet, so it's and we found out from somewhere else that even in addition to this, there's potentially extra security up there, so that might not even go through Elwyn. That might be something else entirely.
So,
Yeah, I spent last night trying to shake him. I just couldn't concentrate.
Yeah.
So I
like,
took a nap.
if
Thought
there's
it's a
an
good thing to
angry,
do.
if there's an angry mech and there's gun turrets everywhere, rather than going directly to the danger place, we could find like the control room, security room, maybe a server room or something.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Either
but
A, shut those off, or B, get it to recognize us as not bad people, or C, swap it so that way it attacks everyone who's supposed to be there and doesn't attack people who
So-
aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah, there's a few different things we can do from getting into the control room. When I was at the building though this morning, I'm not sure how easy it's gonna be to get in. We might be able to get in through their commissary place, but that's gonna involve some sneaking in. Like that even was through a checkpoint, but
if there's a
maybe
there's a way
fewer
in the size
checkpoints?
there's a way in the size of my head I can get in.
Because
I don't wanna be by
don't know
myself.
if there is.
Oh. We go and we find the food vendor. We intercept. We all jump into the food boxes.
And
They
after
drive
that,
us in, take us directly to the kitchen.
Well, they don't really go in. The Big Red comes out to eat. There's an entrance that the commissary uses to get their supplies, but there's no. There's an entrance between the commissary and the building, and that we can probably use. But there's no reason for the commissary to go into the building.
Oh, okay. We could always sewer it.
Could always do it. Could
Come
roof
up in the
up it
basement.
too.
Is this
Maybe we can
this
roof
building
up.
only used as like a prison, or
No, it's
From
a
what-
full precinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a full precinct,
It's
and
a
then
full
the other
precinct
business on top.
plus.
Yeah. Lots
The
of
first,
high security
like-
stuff all in one
Yeah.
place.
The first third or so is like Big Red controlled stuff. The second third is sort of your usual less secure, like less like when I say secure, I mean like high tech classified kind of stuff that you might find in like a firm like this for Ironclad. And then the upper levels are like executive stuff where it's just like you have to have all sorts of security up the ass to get through there. So
That lady
kind of
I
what you're
met
facing.
for Ironclad probably works in that building.
she does. She does. Do you remember her name? Wow.
Donna Alive!
Okay. Yeah, she's in HR.
That I remember. Donna Lime.
Okay. So
So
Do-
I might be able to get to the middle floors. Maybe I can have one other person come with me, Mal. Maybe that's something you and I can try to do.
wait, what do you want me to do?
Well, no, you and I can go into the building and then you go find the control room. And maybe these
With you,
guys can sewer it or rooftop it.
All right. So yeah, I mean, something's not wrong.
I don't even know if that's gonna work, but it feels a little bit more roundabout than just trying to get through the checkpoints.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to take you right into the danger zone.
I was at a cop bar last night. I think I was already in the danger zone. It was so disgusting.
Sounds like
Okay.
It was.
Well, let's say let's just go ahead and set the scene. I know you're doing your danger zone pun, your Kenny Log and stuff. Okay, so let's say we're setting the scene. We're at the Stratus building. It is sleek. It's reflective. You can see polished steel trim on everything. You can see punctuated as you look up now in the brighter parts of the morning. There are several exterior drone bays interspersed throughout the about a 40-story skyscraper or so. And you can see now that there are like swarms of these drones, like insects that are, some of it's around the building itself, but you can also see fleets of these drones leaving, returning, and they're the same types of drones that you all have seen before. Like they followed you in certain places. Mallory, you put one in your stomach in a non-traditional process. So all of these things you've seen before, right? And like the bay windows will open up, like these big garage doors will open up, and you'll see a swarm of them go in, a swarm of them come out. You'll see the drone bay door come down. All of those are up or higher up, though. None of them are like, there's no ground floor drone bay stuff. You can see that there is a significant amount of big red vehicles like in the area. There's no, you would presume that like kind of parking and fleet control is probably in some kind of underground parking garage or so. That would probably make sense considering the design. And you can see that the upper echelons, the upper portions of it, there's like the sigil, the insignias of like ironclad and stuff here and there. But on the bottom levels, you can see kind of like big red stuff. Every now and then you see a group of officers kind of dragging with them a semi-unconscious person to be probably thrown into some kind of holding. You can see that there's lines that are forming by some of the ground floor checkpoints that look to be just like pedestrians, like regular people. You would assume that they're going to either maybe bail people out, or they're going in to, maybe some of them work there, that kind of thing. So you kind of see all of that sort of happening. There's tons of big red presence, tons of drone presence. None of them seem to be directly drawn to you. It doesn't look like your identities have been leaked to them directly. So like you can walk up and down the streets here and there. It doesn't seem to be an issue. But that's where we're at. So what would you guys like to do? I mean, if you would think that if you guys just sort of loiter in the area, without having a purpose, that might draw attention, but that's kind of where you're at right now. And also, don't forget that the downtime stuff where we did like prep and bestow and all that kind of stuff, that's just for free. Like, doesn't mean you can't make rolls to do that again. Like, it's just you have to roll a check for it now, you know? So if there's other prep stuff that you want to do, if there's other information you want to acquire, if there's other allies, or there's equipment, or there's like specs, blueprints, anything like that you can think of, you also can potentially do that as well.
Okay. So when you're talking about that prep, is that something that like I could still talk to like some of the people that were in analog?
Yeah.
Or is that too late now because we
I mean,
okay.
I think at this point, since they are part of like your, that you guys have partnered up with them, they will give you some kind of like rudimentary earpiece. It's clunky, it's big, but they shove it in your ear, and like they kind of wrap like a wire around like the ear itself to make sure it doesn't fall completely out. It feels extremely uncomfortable. And the volume isn't modulated, but you can definitely hear patch pop through. Yeah. What's your status? Yeah.
Well, last night I was trying to shake some of the tracing measures they have on me, but couldn't concentrate after that ordeal with, speaking to somebody inside a machine. So just was in there. But how do you do all this and stay unnoticed? As I'm trying to like see if I can prep to be less of a presence.
Okay. So basically, what I mean, this is just a question. Like his basic philosophy is like their philosophy he explains to you is that Big Red Ironclad, they care about the highest and the newest and the most cutting edge tech. The Analog do not use that kind of technology, and they try to use as much retroware as they possibly can get their hands on. And because it's older, and even though it might be more cumbersome at times, and even though it might break down on them and they have to perform maintenance on it, what much of that kind of stuff lacks is a certain understanding from the techs inside of Ironclad and Big Red. Like they don't have a clear understanding of it. So like that's kind of like their basic philosophy. But is there something you would have wanted to try to do to either like create something? Like you can try to create some tech device or something like that?
Right. And I think this would be a great opportunity for me to burn my New Face Kicker console in the process. Because I think like the New Face Kicker console would be what I've been using to interact with things. So like perhaps that's what they're really tracking or tracing. So like because I'm going in there with something like new, and something that's on a level that they're looking for, perhaps if I were to burn that and then make a device. Does that make sense? Or
no. So let's talk about what you want this device to do. Like what are you looking to kind of create?
Right. So it would have to like be something I would have to like physically jack in. And it would be like something that could interface with them, like maybe through some sort of power port of some sort instead. So using like the electric current rather than just like a wireless connection, you know?
Okay. So you're basically trying to create some kind of like jury rigged or ad hoc like entry device, right? Something that like it's some sort of interface device. Okay. Well, let's do it. Let's put a pool together. Like what do you have that you think you can use to give you some power on this roll?
Well, so it would be intrusion specialist, like knowing how to like hack into places, but all these like crash systems, find backdoors, masquerade as real user, that's all that new stuff. And so that's why I'm saying like maybe I should burn this New Face Kicker console to help me with making this device. Okay.
Yeah. So that would give you 3 power on the roll as opposed to the normal 1. And then you said you're using intrusion specialist and find backdoors. So that means you have a +5, I think, on this roll.
Okay. And then if the little flame symbol is like lit up, that means burn. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So then
I'll say we'll make this a tracked outcome, because what I'll say is if you want, you could spend like we'll make it a track outcome to see how well you do, how good of an item you make, and that might determine how many uses or something like that you get out of it.
Okay. All right. So here we go.
Okay, 14 is fantastic. So
hey, I'm having good luck tonight.
You're rolling great. It's a perfect time to roll. So that's a 14, which means you have 4 power to spend with here. Okay. So let's go ahead and say, because you had a net of, wouldn't it be 5 power? Am I reading? Because you should have gotten 4 + 1 because you had a like kind of a critical. I think you have 5 power to spend. I think this is doing the math wrong. Okay, so you have 5 power to spend. So if you want, like, you can essentially use it to create like a. So you're crafting this device. You're crafting this infiltration device, and we could say that's 2 power to create the thing. So it exists. Okay.
So I got 3 left.
You could potentially like enhance it, perhaps. Like you could maybe get yourself familiar with how it's working, so you can like kind of give yourself a status, like you're trained on it, like you know how it works. So that means you have one power tag just to have the device, and then you can give yourself like if you wanted to dump the rest of your power into it, you can give yourself like a status 3 on like just trained, however you want to phrase it, like infiltration trained, or like analog infiltration, something like that.
Yeah, so have the device. Can I just put 1 power into the analog infiltration and then 2 power into getting rid of the tract because I burnt the new face kicker?
Sure. Yeah, you can do that too. I'm cool with that.
Right.
Spread it around.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have like a minor buff, and you have your item, and then you've, with the help probably of like some of like their interface knowledge, are able to kind of maybe flush whatever it is that they were using to track, especially since maybe like you were saying it's your console, right? Maybe your console, like since you're not using that anymore, since you're not specifically using the console, whatever kind of whatever kind of like user number might be popping up in their system is now like not going to be there. Okay. All right. So you have a plan in place then for when you're able to gain access to a console, right? Now you just have to find a way into the console.
Right. So do I create a tag, or do we not really?
Yeah. Give yourself a story tag for the device, and then give yourself a status for the train. So status is 1 level.
Okay.
While you're doing that, Joe, I think you were talking up before. Did you have an idea before?
Yeah, I don't like all those drones, and I figure a way to deal with it maybe a little bit is add some more drones. So I wanted to start just searching for as many names of as many people that work in all of the buildings around here, just like searching them up online and whatever's posted on their social media and stuff, and putting in as many bogus orders for like DoorDash drone services as possible.
Okay.
Just flooding
Okay.
the space with drones.
Okay. If this goes wrong, I have an idea for how it's going to go wrong too. So
Okay.
I would say that the big danger might be your you go broke or something, because like they like whatever way you're trying to like dummy charge some of this doesn't work, and it ends up kind of hitting your bank account. So there's some threat there. Okay, put together a pool. What do you think you want to use for this to try to create this like a fleet of interference?
I enjoy this
It's
idea.
a great idea. I love this idea. It's good.
I was thinking investigator for like digging through the internet and stuff and finding people's names.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I use every time I'm doing stuff like that.
And you burnt your brain augment, so that's not there for you. Oh dear.
Yeah, I burnt my brain augment. And I was thinking risk takers luck charm, just because it's really a silly idea. It's kind of a general.
You could have it. Yeah, that's fine.
It's a risk.
Okay.
It's a risk.
Okay. I do feel like it's probably fair to say that there is going to be some level of security, maybe not a high level of security on people's personal information. So I'd probably say like just trying to access like it's probably not even people. It's more probably the apartments themselves, the leasing offices, probably not wanting to kind of share how many people they're actually letting live in certain places, because it's very much like a squalor. They're probably selling out more apartments than they actually have, and they're splitting them.
Sure.
So we'll say there's like I'm gonna go ahead and add this into our little scene thing there. Let's give this a try. I'm gonna put like, I don't know, low level security. So when you go to roll, do you see the little scene window on the okay, you see the low level security tag? Click on that.
So would that be a -1?
Yeah.
I click it and that factors in as a -1?
No, it doesn't. You're right. Good call. I don't know how to do that.
At the bottom of where I'm building my roll, there's like a modifier, like just number. I think I
okay. Just put it that. Just put it in there. Yeah. Put it in there.
Okay.
That works. Sorry.
Okay.
We're just trying this for the first time tonight. We've mostly been using Google Sheets for a while, so like we're still kind of tinkering with some of the mechanics.
Tinkering with the tech.
This would be quick outcome or tracked? Which one would this be?
I think tracked, because it's going to determine that you're going to have to spend some power on like how many you get, like how big of an effect, how long of an effect, that kind of thing.
Okay. The tracked outcome attack or
No, do
power extras?
It would be. You could do the other one, the third one. Extras is fine.
Okay.
They all mathematically do the same thing, so it's not really that big a deal.
10.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so you got 2 power to spend. So basically 2 power. You can create again. You can kind of create a tag if you wanted to try to create a tag. You can create like a drone interference, or like you can create. We can call it whatever we want to call it.
Yeah,
that's delivery drones. Something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Heavy traffic.
Okay. So yeah. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that to our scene. So like drone traffic, we'll call it. No, we'll call it delivery drone traffic so we'll remember for next week. All right. Okay. So delivery drone traffic's there. So that's good. All right. So
and then the other one I was going to put, do I get a second one I can
you've got 2 power to spend. And so basically remember that to create a story tag, it's 2 power to create a tag. To create a status, it's 1 power per tier. So if you're going to create the tag like that, it's lasting, that it's somewhat permanent. It's not permanent forever, but it's probably going to last the scene. Then you would have to spend the 2 power to get it.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, so you've spent it all. I'm re-added. I added it the wrong way. So let me add that there. Okay, so we've got some delivery drone traffic flying around. No one picked up on it. It wasn't like a particularly difficult hack or anything. All you really had to do was just sort of like dig into some like leasing office files and stuff like that. Yep. It wasn't like you're hacking through security. So you were able to just kind of create these bogus food orders and various other like quick delivery. Okay. Yep. All right. And thus far, you guys haven't alerted me. Possible. Yeah. So Mallory's so you guys are still standing outside the Stratus building, and I'm fine with saying like some of these are like flashbacks, and we see like, Mallory is like checking his bag maybe, and like there's a device, and then Clover, you like look down at your, whatever your communication, like if you have a tablet or something, you hit kind of a button, and like within like 45 seconds to 2 minutes, all of a sudden we just start to see this like the sky darken with all these extra drones. We even hear the sounds of like them like bumping into each other, and we hear this like these sirens of some of Big Red's drones as they're like kind of chasing off after them. It's like it's almost like comedic, like a George Lucas the prequel trilogy, where they're just kind of bumping into, hey, watch where you're going, that kind of thing.
I'm almost picturing like when a whole bunch of robo taxis get all bunched up in the road by accident, and they like don't know what to do.
It's like Zoom, like 2 Rumbas just kind of bump into each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all happening, and you can tell that that's definitely alerted some of the people on the ground. And so like you can see there's different Big Red officers that are like kind of radiating it back. Some of them are holding their hands to like the sides of their dark matte helmets. Remember, you can never really see their faces. And like they're communicating here and there, and like some of them are looking up, and like 1 or 2 of them like holds up guns like they're getting ready to shoot them out, and like they're quickly like no, like they're but they're aware of this as a problem, and they seem to be working on that.
Can I, as another test, make a fake news article or several fake news articles about some sort of like service glitch? That if they were like search it up as like that's the reason for it. Okay,
we could get to that. Sure, I think that would be. Let's come back to that in a second, because if had you had more power, like we could probably have done that. But let's come back to that in a second. Let's see if like Ivan or Verana or Rika's got something that they want to do here.
I want to go to the public library. Okay. And research and look up and find schematics for sewer infrastructure.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to get lost in the poop.
Okay. So you want to find sewer network stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say there's probably 3 places you could go for that. Like, sure,
Okay.
public library, probably not the greatest of libraries, and but you could probably talk with the smugglers over at the Verge Towers because you know that they use this.
Yeah.
They use underground tunnels for sometimes smuggling stuff in and out. So if anyone would know anything about underground tunnels, they might. There's probably also some kind of utility building. You might be able to kind of get into there. And you can either social engineer your way in or hack your way in, however you want to do it.
Now let's stick with what we know, and I will go talk to the smugglers.
Okay.
Verona
All right.
will go with Ivan. She's going in whatever way he goes in. So
Okay. So we'll say that whole scene of like Clover and Mallory doing their thing, like we'll say Verona and Ivan weren't there. We'll say you two are over at the Verge Towers. They know your faces now, so you don't go through the issues that you went with last time before. But are you going to mention Locke again?
No.
Like the guy Draven Locke, the independent smuggler.
They didn't seem super happy last time, if I remember correctly, and we don't have cigarettes.
I was with the other guy. Mentioning Flicker made them like whatever, but even Locke is what got us in.
Yeah. He's the name that you have, but at the same time, you definitely got the sense that he was mega capitalist and didn't give a shit about the ideology of analog and didn't really care that Big Red were, these sort of like fascists, whatever. Okay, what do you got?
Yeah, I'll go talk to Draven.
Okay.
Be like, hey, I need the maps for the sewer because I'm getting into the tower that way. In exchange for this information, we also have to break into the super secret vaults. I'll steal you something.
You're gonna get into the vaults. You're gonna steal me something.
Yeah.
That sounds like a wonderful idea. However, what do I get if when you break in, one of the turrets puts 1,000 holes in that pretty little face of yours, and you never come back out? I don't get paid.
You get nothing.
I tell you what, I could get you what you need. That's not a problem. I'm just gonna need something now, or at least some kind of collateral to ensure that you come back and give me what I got.
Verona reaches in her bag.
God dang it.
Put the gel away. We're going to need that. Here, I got a great idea, buddy. Right now, I can give you 3rd-degree burns.
Okay, it's interesting first offer.
No, that's it.
You're gonna give me 3rd-degree burns.
Yes.
And that's gonna make me give you...
No. So here, this is a threat. Like, maybe it's not coming across clearly.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you over the sounds of my guys on the other side of the room pointing their guns at you. And you look back and you can see there's like, you saw them before. They pointed guns at you before. So like, he's got a ton of, he's got crew.
He jests. It didn't sound like a threat because he's kidding. He's kidding. He just has a dry sense of humor.
It did have the tenor and tone of a joke. So
yeah, it's dry sense of humor.
Like, are you sure? Like, I could just go Nova right now and just take out the building.
Does it seem like this individual has any interest in anything that's a little more like esoterica stuff?
I mean, that's going to be a roll. Just, offer him something. Offer him something, and then maybe he'll give you what you want. Or you could. I mean, we could follow through on the threat. Like, I'm fine with that. I just wanted to signal the danger in case something goes wrong. That's all I was trying to say. Okay.
Because she does have this reanimated mummified hand.
Okay.
And that's if it seems like he would have any interest in such a thing, like that would be
I have an interest in things that get me money. Would this get me money? Let's
Absolutely.
the two of you go inside the Stratus building, and he does whatever he says, supernova, whatever, and you two get shot up or burned up or put into a cell for the rest of your lives, and I never see you again. Will this hand, by the way, that's kind of disgusting, would this hand fetch a price on a market that I have access to? That's kind of what I'm after here.
Absolutely. It absolutely will.
There's a big market for people, mummified hands.
And she'll explain how this hand is what commands the undead servitors. So you have more power
You telling
in
me
your hand than you even know.
if you give me this, I can control dead people?
Yes.
Is this some sort of like magic word, abracadabra or something?
It's more of a movement.
All right. Give me a roll.
Okay.
You
And this,
put
and
together
I'm not
what you wanna-
BSing. This is a thing. Like whether he cares about it or not is different. But this is
This is really just to convince him that this is worth something.
yeah.
And if you can, you can.
Okay. Tracked or quick?
This one is. That's a good question. I think this one's just gonna be quick because you don't necessarily need. It's not. It's really just like, do you succeed or fail?
It's an 11.
And what did you use? Because you have some bonuses in there. You didn't tell me.
Oh yeah, because I use like the hand and the command, so like I can even like demonstrate what it does.
Okay, so you're
for him
demonstrating.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So. All right. Tell your spark plug over there. Tell him to stand down. I can get you what you want. I'm gonna keep that hand though, and then if you want it back, you need to bring me something from the vault, and then you get your hand back.
He said we would. We're absolutely going to.
Right. Then he also threatened to blow up the building, so he's a little erratic with his positioning in this negotiation.
Wild card.
Rana just pats Ivan on the back.
Yeah. I'm looking for something. The conversation was, I need something from you now, and I'll keep it in collateral. You want your little hand back, you can have it back once you put something else in my hands that is of equal or greater value.
Yeah, we got this.
Okay. Well, give me that hand, please. And he's like holding it out because he wants your hand.
Oh yeah, and the hand.
So go ahead and
goes over.
burn your hand because that hand is no longer in play, and you will not be able to get it back until you deliver him something from the artifact vault. And I'll say, go ahead and give yourself a story tag. Tunnel plans. I don't know. Phrase it however you want. Schematics. So you have as best as he has it, as best as one of the premier smugglers, a layout of the network of tunnels and sewer systems beneath Circuit Heights. Okay. And then before we break, because we're at time, I wanted to give Rika one more. Was there anything Rika wanted to do before we cut out for the night there, Maitre?
Super quickly, I want to look up Sergeant Elwin, and I want to look up his face, and if there's any videos with him, like interviews or fucking whatever. Because I would eventually, if it's required, like to be able to use my alternate face and shit to kind of like.
That's great.
Make him later.
Okay. So you're basically digging through like news feeds and scrolls or anything like that. So you're doing some kind of research, it sounds like, to find evidence of him. And you know that all of these guys, all of these big red people usually wear this helmet where you can never really see their faces. So you're looking for any chances of it possibly kind of showing his face. So give me a pool. And this is just gonna be a quick outcome just to see if you can or can't find an image of him that you might be able to use to double his face. You tell me what you want to use.
Okay. Is there any pluses from like the downtime stuff we just did?
Yeah, I mean you know who Sergeant Elwyn is, so that was like so you can take. I'll give you a 1 power for that because like the time you spent kind of learning of the identity, so you have a name,
Sweet.
so that'll be +1. What else?
My future goal is to use the alternate face tag and dazzle and impress. So I don't know if that's like something
I don't think
I
it
use
applies
now or later.
here. No,
Okay.
not in the acquisition of the knowledge. I don't think so.
Okay. So then it's just
If you wanted to try to come up with some kind of reason for why corporate investors in your exoskeleton suit, because that's what you have. If you wanted to come up with some, because we haven't really talked about who holds the patent for your exoskeleton.
No.
So if you wanted to
Nice.
somehow come up with on the spot right now in the next 30 seconds, how
No pressure.
that might be leveraged in this situation, as maybe they might be able to get you kind of some information, and maybe we can make that work.
Okay. So I think it's protective armor, not exoskeleton suit, because it is very similar to Big Red's armor. And it was a prototype that had been developed, from which the current model of Big Red armor is developed. The thing is that Elwyn was involved in scheduling the people who did the QA for the armor. And like he's the guy that actually organized all like the people who went out in the field and tested this armor. So he is intimately familiar with Rika's armor.
Okay. What's the name of the tech company that holds the patent on your armor?
The tech company.
Yeah, it's so hard coming up with name. Come on, you're a GM. You GM games. You got
I
this.
know, and I'm so bad at names.
I
That's
stick
why
around.
I have like ADs, IMDb actors and actresses. Like that's my source.
I had this in front of me, this table of fables, and when I was trying to come up with a name for the
Holy
hacker person,
shit,
I saw
that's
TAB,
amazing.
so I said Tabby. Yeah, it's Tabby. That's the name of it.
Hey Jeff, what are the names of all the
fantastic.
books on this shelf?
All the books. Oh, geez. It's Amazon Basics, volumes 1 through 10. It's history and geography about the Amazon.
Man. It's,
Okay.
Can I please give you a name later?
Yes, you absolutely can. Okay. Okay. So basically, the idea being that maybe you get their attention, like you bring it to their attention that maybe like Big Red or this representative, whatever, might have taken whatever like designs that your company's patents or whatever have, or maybe infringed upon their patents. Is that kind of the idea? And you're using that to maybe
That
leverage.
is kind of the idea. Yeah.
I like it. Okay. All right, we don't have to play it all out, but we'll say that's what you do to kind of gain access to maybe some of their info and see if you can leverage some of that. All right, give me a roll. You've got your +1 from your previous learning of Elwyn. You've got your
So
+1 from investors.
Adding 2.
I think it's 2.
Can I?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I just roll physical dice, or do you want me to?
Yeah, of
roll
course. Yeah, go right ahead.
While you're doing that, thank you for the raid from DM Feanor.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
for the raid. And also, Chuck threw in chat Tekka Corp. And
Oh,
Tekka
that's
Corp.
cool.
Really?
Okay.
Tekka Corp.
Tekka Corp.
I got a 12.
A 12 is phenomenal. Okay, so 12 is fantastic. It was just a quick, you didn't need to worry about spending any power on this one. And so I will say you absolutely have the face of Sergeant Elwyn. Sergeant Elwyn is a very round, big-headed man with he's clean shaven with a big, broad nose that clearly has been broke a couple times, as it doesn't seem to align too symmetrically on his face anymore. And you can tell a very common feature across any images that you're able to get from insert tech name here is that his eye, he's constantly got bloodshot eyes. Like his eyes are constantly bloodshot, and he's got like a big red nose, and he's probably in his 50s or something like that. He's an older man, and so with kind of a military cut, like a very tight cut, crew cut kind of thing. You can see like his hair is thinned as well, but you have a very clear picture of him. And so next week when we get back, we have some things to play with. We've got a drone war going on up in the skies. Yeah. We've got an access, some sort of analog access key to potentially get into some of the systems. If you can gain access to a console. Ivan and Vron have got some sewer plans, and Rika, you managed to get the face of the sergeant who handles like shift scheduling, to maybe use for some sort of shenanigans later. But we're going to call it there. We're going to say that's it for tonight. And next time around, we should have the full crew, as Jeremy will be back because he sent me 17 texts while we were playing saying, "I'm sorry, please take me back." You can blame it all on me. It's really crazy. So we'll take it back for now.
Such a diva.
He is ridiculous.
Such a drama
it's
queen.
Ridiculous. Okay. Well, that's it. That's it for us. So let's go ahead and do some closing plugs. We'll get on out of here. Well, the order is all screwed up now. So Joe, you're first. Joe, what's going? You and Chuck obviously jump in. What's going on with DOK? What are you guys doing over there?
Yeah. I guess for me, we're doing Salvage Union this Saturday. I think it's been like a month. But getting back at it because holidays are going to be done. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Stuff. And then Chuck's doing everything else with DOK, so he can talk.
Yeah. Possibly Wednesday, maybe. It's the first. We'll be possibly playing that one game, Savage Rifts. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There's several.
Friday, possibly playing some Pathfinder. That's it. That's all. That's
okay.
DOK.
Awesome. Adam, what's going on with Cannon Otter, man?
Cannon Otter is busy at work on Skin City. Myself and another developer, Nick O'Hara, have been working on the Monster Boyfriend catalog.
Good job.
Not a bestiary, Monster Boyfriend catalog.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still working on that. Got some progress done last night, matter of fact. But if you want to check out something that is currently out there by Cannon Otter Studio, you can check out Teenage Odyssey. Go to store.cannonotter.com. Pick one up. Help Chuck get some chicken nuggies.
Awesome.
Chicken nuggies. Nuggies is such a terrible word. You got to say the full thing, Adam.
Chicken nuggets.
That's perfect.
Okay, that sounds so formal, though. I'm genuinely surprised.
Chicken nuggets deserve the formality.
Some nuggets of chicken for Chuck.
Hey, speaking of nuggets, have you been tapping into the McRib since the McRib's been out lately?
I've had 4 this season, which isn't a lot for me.
I tried to talk Melissa into us getting it like once last week, but she was like, absolutely not.
Oh yeah. They used to have the deal where it was buy a McRib, get a second one for $1.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've gotten me hooked on that McRib quantity. So now they're just getting full price for 2 McRibs from me.
Wow. Okay. I mean, they're basically like drug dealers. It's like they really creating this. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then finally, Maitre, what do you do on the internet? Where are you? Tell us.
I am at Plays Games on YouTube, where I make system agnostic or multi-system content about hip-hop that center the GM and player experience that you check out if you feel like checking that kind of thing out.
Awesome. And if you're listening to this or watching this later, check the description. There will be links to everyone's stuff, and so you can find everyone's stuff. As for us, a couple things. First, our friend Steven, our dear friend Steven. You might have saw him in the Twitch chat, Huckleberry RPG. Go to huckleberryrpg.com if you're interested in playing a Weird West RPG action horror. It's really fun. We played it here on the channel a couple months back, and there's some new releases coming out very, very soon. Some new adventures, some updates, stuff like that. So you should definitely take a look at that. And then for streaming schedule, our next game is Thursday, as we've got Swords of the Serpentine. Friday, maybe something. I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't know. I'll see if Steven will talk me into it or not, whether I want to stream it. We'll see. And then Saturday, we've got Call of Cthulhu, where everyone's just dying left and right. So much death. And that's it. Yeah. That's all I got. So much stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, most of you. I was supposed to say earmuffs first. Sorry, my bad. That's it. Okay, so thanks again for watching. Thanks again for listening. We're gonna go ahead and raid our friends over at Insomniac RPG. So follow that raid. Have a great rest of your night. Happy New Year. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. All that wonderful stuff. And we'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.